Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, come in again today. You're very, very welcome. It's great to see you all back. I trust you enjoyed my last video on the band. Yes, that's the name. And through this song, The Weight, we looked at how we just take the pressure off ourselves just a little bit. So trust you found that one encouraging. Well, going from there to 1935 in Oklahoma City. But after a couple of years, the family moved to California. The guy we're talking about is Barry McGuire. Now, Barry sort of had quite a distinctive voice, very, very strong, but very, very gruff at the same time. He was just really a compelling guy to listen to. And so he got to start by doing a few local bars and trios and duos and a few other things. But his big break came in 1965 with the song Eve of Destruction. Now, this song went to number 37 on the album, I should say, went to number 37 on the Billboard albums chart. And it went to number 1 in the hottest 100. So this song was absolutely massive. In fact, this song actually toppled the Beatles song Help off of the number 1 spot in the US. So there we go. The story goes that when the record company sort of heard this song, thought, oh wow, that's a bit negative and all a bit of a thing, but let's get Barry McGuire to sing it. And they thought that there was only one copy, but one copy had been leaked to a radio station, and before I knew it, this song was the most requested song on radio for quite a long time, shooting it up to number 1 on the on the singles chart. Now, before I get on to go talk a little bit more about this song, I've got an official clip below, live version a little bit forward in 2008, and also a bit of a documentary on just a bit of an interview of how this song started. Now, Eve of Destruction. Now, even up to this point, I don't really know what I'm going to say here, because how can we talk about this song, really? It is a protest song, but sometimes we just got to, I don't know, talk about this stuff anyway. Now, Eve of Destruction implies that destruction hasn't happened yet, but it's just about to. You know, we think about, Christmas Eve or the eve of a birthday, it's happening the next day. Well, Eve of Destruction implies it hasn't happened yet, but it's just about to. Now, in the context of 1965, the Vietnam War was just about to start. And the Korean War as well. And then we had the Cold War. It was all about the East and the West. We had Russia and America looking at each other through gun sights. The whole thing was a bit of a thing, and so everything was getting a bit scary. So I think the reason why this song went to number 1 is because it kind of just really captured the mood of the time, and it sort of gave people a chance to actually stand up a little bit more for what they're thinking about things. Barry McGuire was just the guy to sing this song because he had just the voice to deliver it. So we're talking about the day before destruction actually happens. Now, destruction, interestingly, is a total annihilation, a total wiping out of stuff as we know it. It's a complete change in the world. But you know what? Eve of Destruction, it just doesn't kind of happen one day. There was no Eve and now there is. It happens over time. These things just gradually, they creep up on us until we get to a point we're thinking, well, hey, we can't not look at this stuff anymore. And when we look around the world, now we'll do this just a little bit today, look around the world. You may remember a few years ago, there was 202 girls that were, kidnapped in Nigeria. Well, there is still one missing, some 8-9 years later. And there is concerns out there about why she hasn't been rescued up to now. Well, that's another interesting question. We think about the stack of people that are actually on the move as refugees at the moment, either internally displaced in the countries or actually having to leave the country completely. I'm connected with a guy in Haiti, and Haiti is not good at all at the moment. And you wonder how sustainable a world is. It just keeps on keeping on, thinking it's all right when deep down it's not. And I look at this world, I see myself and think, well, what can I do? And well, you know, I may not be someone negotiating around a table, but there are many, many small parts of the world, and I think that this is where I'm going to go today. I've talked about small parts of the world before. There are millions and millions and millions of them. Even if you're in an apartment block, and that could be a small part of the world to you, just a small part of your neighbourhood, or slightly bigger if you're like a mayor or a local government, you've got a whole local government area to look after. Politicians, state or federal, they've all got a bit their best to look after. But coming back to the small guy, you and me, we don't want either destruction, do we? We somehow want the world to be a better place than it is, and we can sort of do what we can to make our part of the world a better place, because destruction happens on all sorts of levels. Someone who's absolutely struggling, they're feeling their life is over. You can be just the person to come in and to listen to them and get them to think differently, to give them a future and a hope when perhaps they didn't have it. So we could be on the eve of destruction all over the place. People are individually in their lives thinking, well, I'm really struggling here. Who's here to help me? We can only help ourselves, by the way. Obviously, you know, you can listen to someone else, but that person's got to be empowered to look at their own life in a slightly different way. Maybe get off the eve of destruction just a little bit. I wonder how many people in this world really, really want it to be better. I think we all kind of do, don't we? But we just don't know how to do it. But it starts with ourselves, getting ourselves off our eve of destruction if we're actually on one, looking to the people we know around us, being a bit of a light to them, a bit of an encouragement to them. We can ease the destruction just a little bit. I got to realise now that I can't do much about the big picture. Not really, you know, but sometimes we need songs like this one to kind of challenge the big picture about what they're doing. And so please be encouraged where you are. You are a light in this world. You can be an agent of positive change, an agent of positive difference in people's lives. Even if it's only one or two, you can be that change in their lives. So let's do that, hey? Let's always be on the lookout for not just ourselves, but the people around us as well. Then maybe if enough people get together, there are countries you can start looking at each other in that way as well. Even destruction could be avoided in 2023. As the video from Spicks and Specks below, these words are as important now as they were back in 1965. Now, Barry became actually a born-again Christian in 1971, some 6 years after this song was written, and so his values completely changed to being this, actually trying to make a positive difference in this world. And it was people like Barry McGuire and other bands like Petra that actually were pioneer of contemporary Christian music, actually bringing drums into churches. So, you know, because of that, he's been a bit of a loved character in the Christian music world ever since 1971, if not earlier. And it's great to see shows like Spicks and Specks actually give credence to this song from 1965 as a very significant song, because it went to #1, for heaven's sake, in the US. Between 1963 and 2000, there have been 26 releases. So a lot of music there, really, for someone who's been around as long as this guy has. So the links to those 1, 2, 3 clips are in the description below. And I've also included my last video from the band about taking the pressure off. There's something a bit, a bit of a common theme happening there as well. That's in there as well. So you'll always find my links in the description below. I never embed videos in videos. So if you come back for another one, or this is your first time, the Life Reflections of Music, thank you to everyone for coming back or coming here for the first time. Let's try and be agents of taking away the eve of destruction. Well, that's it for today. Next time, we're going to go on to Bo Diddley. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.